Hi, this is Marcus, and welcome to the new video for DxO PhotoLab 9.6. There are 3 new features that are included in this new update release. They are DeepPRIME XD3. There is a Diffusion module that has been added within the AI masking, and then there is the DNG compression, which is called High-fidelity. I'm going to show you all 3 of those modules, and I'm going to do a live edit within this photo as well, using the new features, and I'm going to be using the other features that are already contained within DxO PhotoLab. So the first thing that we're going to do here, now I will show you that I have a new workflow, and I'm going to make this workflow available so you can download it. I've changed it. Detail used to be a step below lighting, but I've changed it, and I'm going to show you why I changed it, and I'm going to explain it. So the first thing that we want to do now, we want to convert this file to a DNG using the high fidelity compression. And the reason for that is if I right click on this photo, and if I say let's reveal in Finder, we find out that this photo is actually 35.9 megabytes. I'm going to show you that when I convert this to a DNG, which is a linear DNG file from DxO, and use the high fidelity compression, that is going to reduce that file greatly. But there are some things that you need to do before converting it to a DING file. If I just go ahead and convert this to that DING file right now, I'm going to lose all of the module stuff for the lens. I'm not going to be able to do any denoising because it's not going to be available based upon the features of it. So what you want to do is make sure that all of those things that you want as far as the actual raw file, that you've corrected them first before you actually convert it to a DING file. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is let's go ahead and correct all of these things first. We're going to crop. I'm going to change this to unconstrained because I want to be able to reduce a little bit that's below here to about right there. And then we're going to fix any distortions. You'll see that got fixed. We're going to do lens. Now, when I go into DxO, you'll see this photo is not blurry, but it's not really sharp. And that's because when I go into my DxO, I actually tell it I don't want it to do any or any auto processing for me. Lightroom, Capture One, and all the other raw editors that I'm familiar with do some form of pre-processing on your raw file to give you the illusion that they're actually bringing your raw file in sharper. Raw files, if they're in their native format, are not sharpened. The lens corrections have not been done. No additional colors or anything has been added to it. No vignetting has been corrected. Some people will have it do that for them automatically to speed up their workflow. I like to be in control of every facet of the photo that I'm actually correcting. So what I'm going to do here is now when I click this, watch how sharp this photo gets. Just from clicking that, you can see the detail in the hair and the eyes. I'm going to unclick it again. It goes soft. Now we got it sharp. We're going to fix any chromatic aberration, any purple fringing, and then we're going to take this out and we're going to see if there's any vignetting. And it did fix vignetting. So we got those things corrected. If you need to do any denoising, this is what you need to do first. So we'll go into here. You'll see that there's not a lot of noise in this photo whatsoever. But we're going to go ahead and use the DeepPRIME 3 because we may not be able to see it as of right now. We're going to use DeepPRIME 3. I'm going to force any details right here and remove any dead pixels if there's any. So now that we have that, if you're concerned with moire, you want to put this on right quickly. We're going to go ahead and turn that on, leave it at 100% just based upon the garment that she has. And now we've got this to where we've taken care of that. Let's go on to color. Now this is set for, and this is why you got to go on the color. This right here is set for the classic. We don't want classic. We want the DxO wide gamut. The DxO wide gamut, you can see when I did that, you're able to see more behind the background. The DxO wide gamut is a bigger color space than the classic. So being that the classic doesn't have the additional shades of color, it starts to cut off those colors. And you can see right now, this looks very dark and very punchy. But when I go to a bigger color space, there is a color to gradually roll that off. And so when I go into this, you'll see that those things just come back. So make sure that you're on this. And so now that we've got that, we're going to go ahead and convert that. So this is the file right now. We've got all of our geometry done. We've got all of our details in there for. And so now that that's done, we're going to go ahead and export this to a DNG file. It's going to bring it in. When you bring it in, I'm going to show you the difference of the size. And now when we go into this, you'll see there is virtually no difference in the photo. And if I go into this file here and let's say find inside of Finder, you'll see this file is now 8.9 megabytes compared to 35.9. So that's a huge reduction, and there's no loss in quality visually to the eye. And so that's a very welcome addition to this. And so now we're going to go into this DNG file and we're going to edit. Now remember, since I'm in the DNG file now, if I go to geometry, you'll see that anything that I do with the geometry thing has to be done manually because the lens modules are not there. That's why you want to correct all of those things while you're in your original raw file. So we can go ahead and exclude geometry. We're not doing anything for viewpoint. If we go into details, you'll see if I turn this on, it does not let you select DeepPRIME 3 or DeepPRIME XD3. So that's why you want to do it before you convert it. Right. So now if I wanted to do anything in this, I could go ahead and turn on sharpening, right? Or I can turn on moire, but moire is not even available. That's why we did it on the first photo, because it's not available. So we've taken care of everything under details that need to be taken care of. So we can exclude these three now when we're working on this DNG file. We can just go to color. We're in DxO gamut. We're going to go ahead and hit the white balance. I'm going to go ahead and warm this white balance up a little bit. That's going to help the skin. We're going to go into the color. That's going to choose the Panasonic, but I'm going to switch from there. And we're going to go to color negative. And you can see it lights up that file, but I'm going to choose the Fuji Superior XG1600. That's the one I want to be able to choose. I'm going to tell it to protect the saturated colors. And down here in this color here, we're going to go ahead and turn that on. I've got this on red. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we got the right one selected. And then from here, what I'm going to do, if I go ahead and saturate that red, now that's going to saturate all the colors of red. And then I can make it darker, which really makes it saturated. But this is how you can go ahead and get and kind of get it off the skin. If I go ahead and push the uniformity towards 100, you'll see that it's just all over the skin. But if I go back and say, we don't have to use uniformity and pull it back, it starts to gradually fall off on those things that's not part of that red. So we can look at that right quick. We can go ahead and take this off. I can go in 100%. And if we go compare, look at all the redness on the skin. Look at the redness that's off. Redness on the skin, redness is off. So we got that. And then we're going to go ahead and close this color really quickly here. And then we're going to go under light. And this is where we're going to control things at. We're going to go into DxO Smart Lighting here. That's going to light up everything, change everything about it. I want to go ahead and select, it can't detect the face because it can't see the eyes. That's fine. The eyes are closed. We're going to put this like right here, move that there. And then I'm going to go into the exposure and pull this down like right here to make that a little bit darker. We have the midtones, which is going to lighten her up on the skin. I'm going to pull down a little highlights. We're going to pull back some shadow, a little bit of shadow, and we can lift up, and we're going to pull, so we're going to pull the black back and lift up some shadow. That's how we'll do that, but that black is back too much. Probably about 5 is good enough. We'll use that. And we're not going to use DxO Clear View. If I click that, you'll see the kind of look it gives. I don't want that, but I may want to put it on a rock or something like that. So we're going to go to contrast. It already is on 5. This is more like clarity. We're going to punch up those midtones. Again, let's close this. If I go in here 100%, you'll see this punching up the midtones. It looks pretty good. And so now what I want to do is I want to turn on the tone curve. I want to hit this, and we're going to go ahead and grab the tone picker. I'm going to go back here, and I want to pull this down just a little bit like this, about right there. That works for what I want to do. And then what I'm going to do here is, and actually let's, when I do that, I need to lift the shadows a little bit more about right here. And we'll lift a little bit of exposure about right there. So that works for what I want to do here. Then we'll go to local adjustments, and this is where we're going to go to look at the last feature of this. So what I'm going to do is turn this on, and what I want to do is I want to go ahead and grab this gradient. I'm going to pull this gradient down like this to select the area that I want to affect. And then I'm going to create a submask. And on that submask, I am going to use an AI thing. I'm going to select the subject. It's been selected. And then I'm going to hit this to put everything behind her. So all we're doing now is just doing everything behind the photo. Now I can go ahead and use this diffusion, and you can see what it does. See how the diffusion works? We're going to use a little bit of this diffusion right here. And what I want to do is I want to pull down the midtones of that background. So we can pull that down. I want to pull down a little bit of the shadows of the background. Or what I want to do mostly is I want to go to the blur tool, and I want to blur this. So we're going to pull that, and that's going to blur it so it's not as in focus right here. And then we're going to go back. Let's go ahead and close that mask. And then I'm going to go back up, and I'm going to click on another mask. And here I'm just going to grab the picker. We're going to go AI. I'm going to go ahead and grab this picker, and we're going to select this. And when I select that, then I'm going to go to DxO Clearview, and I can pull that up to give that more detail, right? And so if I wanted to be able to do that. And that is a very quick edit here using DxO PhotoLab. We're going to go back. Now we've got everything selected. I'm going to go back to light, and I'm going to bring up all of this. It's going to affect everything that I've selected, and there we go. So that would be how I would actually edit this. And then I can take it into Photoshop or whatever application I want to be able to use. We're not going to use Photoshop. We're going to stick with DxO. Let's go into Nick Collections. And under Nick Collections, I'm going to take this into Analog Effects. You want to make sure that you turn on this non-destructive edit, which will allow you to have layers within the TIFF file, because this is going to be exported as a TIFF file. And then I'm going to go into the film look that I want to be able to choose. And I'm going to fade it a little bit more. Pull this strength down. I'm going to see which one actually works the best. Looking for something else. Let's go in here. I like this one. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Pull the diffusion back here. There's no reason to use extractions. There's no light leaks or anything I need to be able to use, but we're all going to bring down some brightness, like right here. And that is the look of that photo. We'll go ahead and hit apply. That will save it out. And this is the original file that we started with. We did all of our corrections with the geometry. We brought it in as a DxO DING file or linear file with high compression. And you can see this is what we was able to do here. And then I sent it out to Nick Collections, and this is the final photo that we actually created. And we're done with that. So I just wanted to show you the new features of DxO PhotoLab 9.6. It's a great application. Hope you enjoy it. And I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button and click the notifications.